him what you told us. He decides what's on the list. Yes, your county's going to
right. So they could, if they wanted to, they could still say.
Yep, they can put it on their county wait list.
Yeah, it's on our list. It's on ours. Yeah, I'm just wondering why it's not on the state.
I'm sorry, I wish I did know the answer, but I don't. John's is always more fun than mine.
I got cool pictures. So like McGrath said, I'm John Mortensen of the North Dakota Department of Agriculture. I'm a plant protection specialist, which means nothing to anyone. I have a couple programs under my kind of purview, and one of them is the biocontrol. So a quick show of hands, who has heard of biocontrol of noxious weeds? Okay, pretty good amount. So we can skip a lot of slides. There's only 78 slides in here, so we'll be here for another 2 hours. I hope you guys are okay with that. McGrath kind of touched on some of this, so we're going to skip over what a noxious weed is. She did have the noxious weed list. But we're going to talk about biocontrol. And what is biocontrol? Biocontrol, or biological control, is the use of natural enemies to control an invasive or noxious weed. Basically, there's a whole process they go through to bring these, what would be a pest in the home range here, to be used as a beneficial insect. When we're talking about biocontrol, I always like to really start out with the pros and cons and kind of lay out a groundwork of what actually happens. There is some really good pluses of biocontrol. It's cost effective, it is plant specific, it can be very economical, and when it works, it is sustainable and it is awesome. But there's also a list of cons. It takes time and money to develop, there's limited supply, it doesn't always work, and it's not an instant thing. You're not going to go out and dump some biocontrol agents out and come back the next year and go, oh, the weeds are gone. Great, we're done. It takes a minimum 3 to 5 years. Some of these agents can take up to 10 years to establish and start doing some actual control. It does not eradicate the weed. Typically, these agents will get it to an economic threshold where you can survive with the damage being caused by the weed. And then the last thing is time. I say that all the time because it just takes time. People are looking for that silver bullet, that spray level of control. When you spray it, you come back, or it's dead. Biocontrol doesn't work that way. Now we're going to see some old stuff. So how does biocontrol get to the country? How do we research it? How do we prevent issues? I get this question a lot. Because one of the main agents we deal with is leafy spurge flea beetles. And I've heard people, well, we got a flea beetle problem in our canola. Aren't these going to be the same thing? No, they're not. When they start looking at bringing an agent in, they go to where that weed is natural. So leafy spurge, which is a lot of what I'm going to talk about in here, because it is really the weed I deal with the most, and it's probably one that you guys see the most out on the landscape. So leafy spurge in its native range is not a weed, it's just a normal plant that exists. There's those biological systems that keep it in check so it doesn't take over. So what they'll start doing is they'll go to where leafy spurge is not an invasive, it's not noxious, and they'll look for insects that will attack it. Then they'll bring those insects into the lab, and they'll do testing to make sure that that is the only attack that they're looking at. And once they get through that step, then we'll actually do field trials, again, making sure it'll survive our climate, making sure that it does not go off target. And then once we get through all of that, we still have to get through the government regulatory approval, which is a long process. There's agents that they've been working on since I took over this program 7 years ago that still have not got approved to be released in this country. Limitations and challenges. There's all these issues. Public perception is a big one. In the past, biocontrol wasn't researched in the way it is now. It wasn't controlled, and people will just go, hey, this toad will do something for this, and they'll release it, and then all of a sudden they have a cane going on. Another real big one that's been mongoose did great on the rats. They also did great on ground nesting birds. They did great on native animals. So now instead of a rat problem, now they have a mongoose problem. So that is that public perception that is seen from the past that we try to prevent in biocontrol. And that's where all that government regulation comes from. Those regulatory hurdles can take time. There's also issues with, where people think that a noxious weed is useful. The picture on the left there is Chinese tallow. It's not native to North Dakota. It's not native to this country. It's found down in the south. They had a biocontrol agent ready to go. They went through public comment, and beekeepers got out of shape on it. That Chinese tallow is used as a food source there that they need. So with that pushback from the beekeepers, they had to pull that biocontrol agent. So there can be issues getting in there. So, like I said, the goal of biocontrol is not eradication. It's to get it below that damage threshold. It's kind of a busy chart. So what you can see is that white line is your invasive plant. It has that cyclical up and down, population booms and crashes. The idea with biocontrol is you release an agent. It brings both of those down below that damage threshold. You can control it through chemical, mechanical means, or just live with the damage because it's less than what it's going to cost to go out and spray it. So it's a busy one, but this is kind of always the goal when we're talking about that. So, North Dakota in specific, here's our list of state-listed noxious weeds. Color is not showing up great here. The first four, wormwood, houndstone, palmer, and salt cedar, there are no agents available, so we have no need to look for biocontrol sites in the state. Since we don't have agents to use, there's no point in working on this. When we look at our Dalmatian toadflax, diffuse knapweed, mustard, and Russian knapweed, there are agents available, we just don't have populations. And that's one thing with biocontrol, is it's a population. If you go out to a field and you've got a patch of leafy spurge that's the size of the inside of a little table circle here, that's not a candidate for biocontrol. Get the sprayer out, get the mower out, get rid of it a different way. It's just not big enough. And then the bottom ones, those are all weeds that we have agents for and populations for. Canada thistle, leafy spurge, loose stripe, spotted knapweed, and yellow toadflax. And again, we're going to talk a lot about leafy spurge because that's the main one we deal with. There is agents coming in for houndstone and salt cedar. Salt cedar probably not so much for this group in this area. You guys don't have the issues that they along the Missouri up north. But houndstone, I assume that you guys have got houndstone down here as a problem. They have one agent that was approved in Canada. It's not approved in the States. Lucky for us, they've started to march into the States. They've started finding some of those unapproved agents in Montana for houndstone. So we're kind of hoping they just keep marching their way into North Dakota and they start controlling it. We don't have to do anything. But there is some new ones they're working on there. So we're hoping in the future to have those two online as well. Alright, you all know what leafy spurge is. We're going to just touch real quick on the actual agents. And then if anyone has any questions, definitely let me know. We have three agents for leafy spurge that everyone really hears about. This is the big one, leafy spurge flea beetle. I actually have, if you guys have never seen it, I'll pass that one around. So those are the flea beetles. That's the main biocontrol agent we see in North Dakota. That's the main one everyone wants to hear about. That's the public collection days. Very effective agent. Once you can get them established, they can take out populations and get them controlled. One caveat with them is they do not do well in heavy sands or heavy clays. So if you have a real sandy site or a real clayey site, I really wouldn't waste your time getting releases and doing that with these because they just don't build the populations. These guys do a lot of damage to larvae, grow underneath or underground, and damage to roots. The next agent that we're actually working with a lot here right now is our red-headed stemborer. It's one that was released back in the late 80s with the flea beetles, and it didn't take off, and everyone kind of went, nah, let's let it go. Montana did the same thing, but now they're starting to see 20, 30 years down the road, the populations just take longer to build, and they're starting to get control. So we've actually been working with Montana, going out and collecting some and bringing them back. Pass that one around as well. They're a much different agent. You can tell just by the size, they're a lot larger. It's a lot different collecting them. But we've been doing releases, we've been bringing about 100 to 120 back every year for the last 3 years, moving them around the state, trying to get some more sites set up, so hopefully we can have this one as well. And then the last leafy scourge one is the hawk moth. Again, it was released around the same time as those other two back in the late 80s. They just never took off. They show up pretty much at all of our collection sites, but they don't really do a lot of damage to the plant. They will defoliate it. I have seen some plants, and I got some pictures here, where they clean the leaves off, and the flea beetles are sitting on the grass because there's no food form on that leafy scourge. One thing that is fun with these is it's a great learning environment when you're at these collection days and you got kids running around and you get this big old caterpillar and they come up and they're looking at it. So it's a great way of getting the kids involved and getting that education. Now we get to the cool part I like of these pictures. These are a little grainy, but you can definitely see the flea beetles. This is one of the heaviest infestations I've ever seen. They're basically tipping that plant over with all their little tiny bugs. These are all pictures from North Dakota from different collections we've done or different scouting we've done. Here's that stem organ. As you can see, they're quite a bit bigger. They have found them actually making establishment out in the Badlands and at Lake China, so they can survive in North Dakota. And again, we're spreading them across the state and get them out there. And then here's that hawk moth again. This was a pretty cool site where they were completely defoliating and cleaned all the green material off the spurs. So I'll tell you, I went back the next year and it looked just the same. Plants recovered, it was not an issue. So when we're talking about biocontrol, when you're looking for a site, there are so many different things you need to look at when trying to pick out a site. If you're trying to get a new population, or just trying to control weeds on your own property. I could sit and go through every one of these, but in the sake of time, my phone number will be at the end. Definitely reach out if you have additional questions. Collecting, that is something that our department does help out with quite a bit. We go to the counties if they're hosting a public day or if they want to just do a small private collection. We have staff, we have equipment, we have the ability to come out and provide that manpower, provide the nets, provide the sorters, and help people out to get these agents spread out across the state. I like to take a lot of pictures with the number one tool for biocontrol, the sweep nets. I have one that lives in my pickup, and we have cases of them. I share them with everyone. These are all ones collections we did, Lake China. The middle one's actually out in Missoula. We were out in the mountains collecting those record stem boars. And the last one on the other side there is out in Douglas County. So we cover the state and part of that. It's always a good day when you get out in the field, do some sweeping, and actually go out and collect the bugs. I can keep your picture in this. We graphed our work a little bit. So. And this is what a good day looks like. This is at the start of the day, pretty light on the population that you're collecting. But later on, you get this nice heavy mix of about a softball size, up to 20, 30 minutes. There's probably 4 or 5 releases sitting in that net there that can go out, can go to landowners, can go to property managers. One cool thing about this picture, those 2 bugs right there, those are those stem borers that we're starting to actually see some population showing up. So we're starting to get some recovery from them as well. Just some of the equipment, we have quite a few of these sorters. If any of your counties want to host public collection days, just have to let us know. We can come out, help out. We've got the equipment, we've got the media presence and all of that. And this is just kind of showing when we go to Montana and do our collections. Flea beetles in North Dakota, it's not really hands-on. You do your sweeping, you dump it in the sorter mixes it out, you scoop them and go. Those guys are a lot bigger. We put 50 to a cup. So you literally have one person with the cup and the other person gets to go get in this pile of stuff. Every one of these bugs, these longer bugs here, those are all those stem borers. So we're all hand grab and pretty labor intensive. But I know that the folks really enjoy it when we bring them back and we get these bugs out on the street. And that's what a good day of collecting looks like, a cooler full of bugs that you're going to go dump out and try and get some control on this. When we're talking about control, the other thing I always really push is plan that release and plan that monitoring. You don't want to just dump it and never ripped through that super quick, but is there any questions?
What about having boots, up with this pet side?
So, we don't really deal with the livestock side when it comes to biological control. I do know, I've spoken with a lot of folks and been at a lot of meetings where they talk about using goats or using, alpacas, all these weird livestock. I know the goats do an amazing job. I know there's actually companies that's what they do, is they come out, they set up temporary fencing, they dump the goats in, the goats do the thing, and they let them off, take the fencing down, and move to the next setting. Kind of a custom grazing type setup that they do for that. Answer your question? Okay. Sorry, like I said, I deal with stuff I can fit in jars, not things I can fit in trailers. Especially those alleviators, when they get established, we were with the lead officer last summer, and we pulled up on the side of this hill overlooking the big valley. He just stopped, just quiet, and goes, I don't believe this. He goes, that hill was yellow last year. And he said, they've been releasing bugs for a few years, and they finally took off, and just, he said, I wouldn't believe it if you told me there's no church out there. So yeah, they do, like I said, in the right spot, in the right location, they do work. Again, if anyone has counties where they want us to come help, I know you guys are county commissioners, but we do work with whoever and whenever we need out there. So, we usually have small little patches. I don't think that's ridiculous. I see what I do. Yeah. Well, and that's the other amazing thing about biocontrol is that those bugs aren't chewing along when they get to the fence line and go, oh, that's Joe's property. I can't go there. No, they just keep going. Where I live, the pasture next to my place, they've got a leaky spurt problem and they do nothing about it. And even noxious weeds, and coming home to that every night, I've taken a few puffs and walked to the fence line with, oops, and let them do their thing as they go. So that's one of the great things about it is that they move themselves and they do it themselves.
What percentage of the Turbine do and kill all of them, or just percentage of them?
The bugs?
Yeah.
So the Turbine doesn't really actually affect the bugs. What it does do is it hurts the resource.
Okay.
So a lot of times, especially if guys are putting in new sites or trying to start with biocontrol, I recommend taking a year or two off on that and just see if they get established and let the bugs do their work. And once they've kind of cleaned most of it up, you're still going to have some spotty spots. That's when it's time to get that sprayed out and clean it up.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Information from a fire hose is always fun, isn't it? Okay. Well, I think that's all we have. Like McGrath said, we've got a whole box of outreach materials. We've got the posters. They're here for the taking. Definitely, the more that you guys take, the less that we have to pull back into the cabinets. I'm always a fan of if everything goes, it's great. I assume we're going to hang out for a little bit. If anyone has any questions that they want to ask amongst the group, feel free to come back.
Thank you for coming. So we'll move on. Going to the other counties, we're going to pretty much. So we'll go to the living stingers on our blade. And if you want to know what you say, you got about half of our blades is for things
soil, this looser soil on top of that, and we didn't have that time period to have to get all that rain. It was a sloppy mess until it filled up. But they'll use this year, we got to get 1 day, a couple of days, 3, 4 days. They went out on the washboard, the intersections, and cut it out, and then we back and fix. I think it's a 22. If they're used right, like anything else. In the what? In the styles.
You buy the companies, different stuff. Nick's got 2 of them that I hate,
You hate them?
because you gotta,
Well,
you
I
gotta,
have cats.
They what?
I have cats. My guys run cats, and we're having problems with they have to run the spinners. The stingers, they have to tilt their blades back so far that it throws off their actual geometry when they're running like our surfaces. So we can't run that actual part of it. So he has to end up using an actual cutting blade because the way he has to tilt that back and cut it doesn't work out. Stuff like that. So I have issues with cats right now. So that's my point.
We've got issues using if there's any grass. You don't want it.
Very disappointed. He's got the county doesn't have a construction project. And that's made out there for a while. Every time. It doesn't have the county all of it. They didn't mention this in the paper, the problem is most of these counties got a road on like that. And you have to do this, and most people got right down the middle. And you need to listen to this so hard. You have to use your fingers. And you mentioned that the whole road is so the edges, you know, like this gravel here, they don't really, that would be cast, really, that's really. It's, you know,
I never heard this one, but you have to throw that blade back.
Yeah.
Oh, I never heard of that.
It's so that slope system has usually comes that pretty great. The way it aims it back so far, it throws off that whole view. And that's what Pat told us now is that angle is thrown off the whole thing.
So where do you guys buy it? Because they're just going to suppliers. They're spending.
but one place that I, from the north, you don't have to bring it back so far. If you fill it ahead too far, it can go back. So, it's now at Nick's spot, you gotta run it back. Here, you make it more, otherwise it runs long.
There might be more after three than you do.
Yeah, the kids are small, kids are small.
Like there's reports.
So we run a pack of things, that makes it two different packs.
I mean, everything else is really bad.
Well, if you're doing kind of shoulders, they don't,
Which way you can't cut it, you don't need it. You just skin it. That's why we gotta do it, because you can't get the washboard out. We use it. They used it this winter, but they were sick.
I like it.
Yeah, I think coal mines, well,
Just curious. Like when you run,
Well, it's just something we talked about in our last meeting, which we continue to struggle with, the water board, all these things, we want people to be on board. I mean, I think I'm on the 7 or 8 of them, because it's just so much, people don't want to be on board with it. So if you guys have any ideas how to improve it, works. I mean, that's what's from the hitter. And it seems to be, you guys could be, incentive on what we have to be, take place to be all the community. We seem to have it being back. It's bad. So I would just want to bring up the idea of, hey, what do you guys do in your counties? Are you guys seeing the same kind of thing?
Somebody calls with an issue, you ask them to sit on the board.
Well, I do that.
So we do. We had such a major issue in Emmons County, where it was in our local paper. One individual just disrupted everything. In fact, the assistant person on the guy, it was a disaster. So I don't know on some of these county positions that people don't want to be a part of. Oh, there's negative arguments. Who wants to be? You don't need it. I want to be state people. You don't know who the hell wants to be. You don't know who you should want. Good point. But really, the last 2 years, I think the last year, it's been good. But to get people on these boards, we do that.
I know there's one thing, if you ask somebody, then maybe you wouldn't think of being on it. Yeah, but nobody will volunteer.
We just introduced the Sony. I think most of the people that do it step up. They're good group of people.
Yeah, 9.
Very fortunate.
Every commissioner, there's usually 2 from the whole city. And the commissioners also from the cities.
No, we've had problems with our water, we have some water issues and all this stuff. It's one of those things where it was like throwing pieces right you gotta keep on the board. We don't get a drinking board, put it up to the flat, trying to get people to go on that board. Trying to, everybody turn it down or not, think about it, which is, people that we thought were really good at it, on it. But,
There's no people.
right.
This is gonna sound comical, but I'm curious about it. First off, you have to ask people will volunteer. Then you need to plead, then you need to negotiate because, and sell how important it is the position, okay? And then lastly, raise your board fee. That night.
If they say, what's in it for me, you probably don't want one.
We don't want them.
No, but the pleading sometimes helps. I mean, we're not that we're desperate, but we really need someone. We can't find anybody. I mean, you'll find someone with a soft heart out there.